I'm sorry. I have to pull an all-nighter tonight at the law library.
All-nighter?
Yeah, I gotta make sure I'm the most prepared attorney in the courtroom once my trial starts.
Why did she pick you out of the lineup?
My lawyer found out that the police showed her my picture beforehand. Twice. Of course I looked familiar. That's not even the worst part, Liz. What happened in Utah wasn't just dumb luck. The police already had my name. Someone gave it to them.
Someone gave your name to the authorities in Utah. Mm-hmm. Do you have any idea who did that to you?
Look, do you see that car out there? It's been following me since I got back. Either I'm going crazy or I'm being set up.
And that's a clip from Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil and Vile, which stars Zac Efron and Lily Collins. Zac and Lily, hello, how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
When you're on set, how did you refer to the film? Because there must be a shorthand. You can't say that title every time. Did you just call it Vile or Wicked or?
The Bundy movie?
I don't know. We just call it See You on Set Tomorrow.
Yeah, when there wasn't much of a title.
I think we did call it just Extremely Wicked.
Extremely Wicked. Okay, the title, which we can explain, comes from the judge's final summing up in the Ted Bundy case. Anyway, just get us into this story, Zac. It's a Ted Bundy story, and you play Ted. Just get us into this, and then Lily, chip in and explain who you are and how you tell the story in this film.
Well, for a lot of people, it's a story that they know. Ted Bundy was one of the worst serial murderers of all time, and specifically of women. And his story is a long, twisted, ultimately gruesome tale of carnage. But during the time that it was happening, the world was, for the first time, privy to being inside the court via a film camera being placed there. And Ted Bundy, being the mass manipulator and quote-unquote charmer, quote-unquote likable guy who could never do such things, was given a platform to represent himself in front of Judge Cowart and play to the world. And that made an interesting juxtaposition between the people that thought he was innocent and guilty, because fame got thrown into the mix. Yeah. He've now given him fame, which is arguably power to a certain extent. So we discussed the correlation between fame and power, how you use it, Ted Bundy's white privilege, his charisma, his ability to lure so many people. And Lily got involved. I was so happy when she joined on to play Liz, because it's actually told through her eyes.
Yeah, and Liz Kendall was a woman that Bundy met right out of college, who already had a young daughter named Molly.
Yeah.
And saw in him a very charismatic, handsome, intellectual man who cared for her daughter. Her daughter loved him, and there was very much a family bond created right away. And so for many years, they were together before any of the said killings started happening. So she had no reason to believe that Ted was involved. There was a little bit of doubt, similar car, but other than that, there was really no inclination that it was him. So all these years go on while killings are happening, that she is really torn between what she's hearing publicly and the Ted that she's seeing privately. And until the court case was televised, she had all of a sudden new reason to be doubtful, and you see the movie unfold and you see what it is that she's seeing. So you don't see any of the murders because it's being told through a perspective of a victim. And hopefully at the end of the movie, when Liz finds out what she finds out, you as an audience member have more empathy for her because you've been on that ride with her and you've been seeing what it is that she's seen.
So it's worth emphasizing that point, because there will be many people like me who thought, okay, it's a Ted Bundy film and it's called Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil and Vile. And they might think, that's a movie that I don't want to see. But because we don't follow him on his dreadful
there's
trail of
no
carnage.
escapades filled with blood and carnage. It's an intellectual, introspective manipulation that unfolds within the court case, within another character, Carol Ann, within my character, Elizabeth Kendall, and you don't see any imagery, you just hear about it. And that's what Liz would have been seeing. She would have been seeing court cases and hearing about it. But it's till the very end when you see a specific image, but it's only until Liz makes the discovery herself that the audience does as well. So it's a movie that is disturbing, but not for the reason that most people will assume.
It's worth saying, Zac, that you I just wonder if there's someone who goes to see this film. Why are you high-fiving each other? By the way,
Because she gave she was eloquent in an answer that I've been unable to say as well as she. And I really like the way that she gave that answer. Is why I'm high-fiving.
Should I just talk to
in
Lily?
America we high-five you? Do you want a high-five?
no, I haven't done anything to deserve a high five.
You are. Yeah, give me.
Okay, I'll give you a high five because you went to the Spurs match. I saw a photograph of you at the Spurs match.
Yes.
Wearing a Spurs top. So I'll high five
Oh, that's
you.
what. So you will high-five me.
Yeah, I'll high five you for that.
Okay,
So-
cool. Right.
But I wonder if there are people who go to see this film without knowing the story. And I guess that there'll be some people who don't know the story, particularly over here, where it certainly made headlines, but not as many headlines as it would in the States. And because the way the movie plays out in a kind of innocent man falsely accused format, maybe it'll be a while before they go, oh, I see. Do you know what I mean? It's not immediately obvious that you're...
No. My own mom, who knew the story and was around during that time, said to me that she saw the film and she actually had to remind herself during the movie that she had been thinking during the movie, did he do it? No, it's Ted Bundy. Of course he did it.
Yeah, of course. The most shocking thing about all of this is that it's real. This really happened. Not that long ago, a man was able to accomplish these horrific acts and get away with it.
Well, did you specifically use that? Did you have reservations about
100%.
this? Even though we're focusing, as you both said, on the charismatic, believable, lovable, in quotes, side of Ted Bundy, it's still Zac Efron playing Ted Bundy, and you must have thought, really?
Absolutely. I had reservations about that, about the thought of that. I wondered what I would think of that. I remember I came home to visit my mom, and she naturally asked, so are there any projects? Is there anything you're thinking of working on? And I said, well, there's a couple. There's one that I could play, actually, a serial killer. It's iffy right now. And she goes, really? What one? I said, Ted Bundy. And she was facing away from me at the time, and she stopped dead in her tracks and slowly turned around and looked in my eyes, and all I saw was fear. Her eyes were full of this powerful emotion, clearly conflicted, because she was aware of that trial. She had seen it. That's how powerful this was for her. The wake-up call to the world that you can't judge a book by its cover or a person by the way they act or look or assume they're good or evil.
Did she not want you to do it?
Initially, I didn't want to do it. Initially, I didn't want to glamorize a killer, and unfortunately, like you said, some people, and actually a lot of people, are saying that simply by playing the role, I've glamorized him. Another perspective is that something that I am known for as an actor, performer, or as a person, was able to repackage and put to different use here in a different way.
I wonder if any other actor had taken this on, if they would have said the same thing to that other actor, that they were glamorizing. Sometimes I wonder if it's just because it's Zac, And I think that's really unfair, because he gets asked that question a lot, because there's nothing glamorizing in this script. No. There's nothing glamorizing about the way he ends up. There's nothing glamorizing about the facts of it. And I sometimes feel that just because Zac is Zac playing this character as an actor, he gets asked that an unfair amount of times, and
that's been my whole career. I
know, but I just think it's interesting with this character in particular.
Lily, can I ask you about Elizabeth Kendall, whose real name is Elizabeth Klopfer, is it? You're going for another high five.
No, that was a wave. We do that. Have you ever heard of that? If you're over there, we wave.
Yeah, we think we do that.
Yeah.
You met the real
I met Elizabeth and her daughter Molly.
And what did you learn from that? How much of that do we see in your performance?
It was incredible. When I was speaking to Joe about Elizabeth, I expressed the interest in meeting her, and he said, well, actually, in fact, she'd love to meet you. And she knew that I would be playing the role, and so for me, that was a bit of a sign of approval, that she wanted to meet with me, and we sat down with her and Molly, and she brought family photo albums and love letters that he had written her. And she was so kind and gracious with her time, and we spent a while just going through these items, and she told me a lot of stories and tidbits that some were to be kept private just so that I knew to better my understanding and performance, and some were bits that we kind of inserted into the script. And that, to me as an actor, was the ultimate gift to be given, because she's still alive and wanted to be involved to an extent. And for me, I could at least grasp onto something because there's very little out there of her, very little imagery. So I wanted to pay tribute to her and also other victims in a way, yeah.
And Lily, I just want to say you do such a fantastic job in the movie of portraying that. I was able to get in the editing room with this one, and with Joe, and Lily's performance was so versatile that we were able to really alter and highlight some key moments because of the depth of her performance and what she did know about Liz.
Yeah. Can I ask you both the same question? This is one of the questions that the film tackles, which I think the audience will be asking, which is Ted Bundy clearly a psychopathic killer. But in his relationship with Liz, did he feel warmth for her? Does he love her? Is he capable of that emotion? What is that relationship?
Well, I think that that's something that Liz and Molly still grapple with, because how could you not? But from the footage that I saw, the pictures that I saw and the letters that I read, I believe that there was love and warmth there for a family unit. They were together many years before any of the killings started happening. And he treated Molly like, I feel, his own daughter at times, and she got along with him, and the whole of them were a family unit. And so I can't say specifically whether or not it was love, but I felt like there was a warmth and there was a love. No matter to what degree it was there, it was there. And that's what kept them together as a family for so long, because I don't think Liz would have settled for anything less for her daughter.
Zach?
It is a great question because by definition, a sociopath kind of incapable of human emotion or empathy, and a psychopath, even worse, zero care for human life. But Joe and my agreement at the beginning of this was to ask the question, just because one is a psychopath or a sociopath, does that mean that there's not a craving for normalcy in your life, or for something stable, for a three-dimensional, what appears to be real relationship? If his hobby is something so horrific, there's got to be some craving or sense of normalcy. And this is my opinion. I'll never truthfully know what drove him. But in our research and in my research, you see somebody who was at least very, very good at making Liz believe they were in a great relationship, one of true love.
Zac Efron, Lily Collins, appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank
you very much.